Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? This is Yumyulack here, representing Team JVS, back here again for another TV show premiere. The name of this show is Solar Opposites. It is premiering on Hulu on May the 8th, and I don't think you want to miss it because it's hilarious. So the name of the first episode is A Matter of Array. This is, let me just give you the synopsis of it. It's an insane synopsis, technically. A family of aliens move to Middle America where they debate whether life is better there or on their home planet. So think Coneheads meets Invader Zim. I think that'd be a really good comparison to that, because the family as a whole, they're comprised of 4 different family members. I mean, they're not technically even family. Like, they have different aspects about them, but they have to function as a family technically. It's Terry, Korvo, Jesse, and Yumyulack. And then they got like a little grub baby, which is really weird. But Justin Rowland, who is helping to co-create and write this one, is playing the role of Korvo and Terry. And I think it's Mary Mack is playing the role of Jesse. Sean Gambron is playing the role of the brother. And I think in this specific episode, Carrie Walgren is playing the role of the teacher, which Carrie is a vet. If you guys don't know, she's an amazing voice actress. But first episode, what did I think about it? So the first episode really kind of establishes what's happening now, not so much the past. They do go and gloss over that the planet that they're from got hit with the meteor, and it left in disarray. And so they had no choice but to leave their planet and ended up subduing themselves to Earth. The problem is that Korvo, who is, I guess, technically the leader of their family / group, really hates Earth. Like, he hates the humans, he hates everything about being there, whereas his second hand, initially, I don't know the construction of the relationship between Terry and Korvo, but it seems like they're just close friends that are leading this whole expedition. But Terry, on the other hand, he loves Earth. Like, he loves everything about being there, and he wants to stay. And then I guess with the 2 kids, technically they are technological advisors and investigators, and they still have to function like kids, and so they have to go to school. So in this episode, when it first starts up, Corvo's like, man, you know what? Forget this Earth, and like he's like trying to repair this ship. I don't want to spoil too much. Just to say, it does not bode well for the amount of time, just the beginning of the episode for the Earth. Like, I'll just say all that. Matter of fact, this is very gory. Like, Rick and Morty in and of itself is very grotesque and gory and goes there, definitely language. This doesn't spare any like inkling whatsoever. Like, they definitely do not hold their punches in terms of the graphic violence aspect of it, as well as the graphic language. I mean, it doesn't go too far as language, but definitely the violence is definitely there, unexpectedly, I should say. Because in this episode, Korvo was kind of looking at a show that Terry was going through, and he was like, oh man, this is such a cute little character. I really like it. Like, Fun Bucket, I really want to kind of meet Fun Bucket. Of course, you know, it was a TV character, so instead of like going and trying to make something else happen, like, it's kind of like take the concept of what Stewie Griffin has done before in Family Guy, where he's like loves something, like goes and tries to meet it, and then it's like, oh wow, it's not real. The difference with this is they're like, you know what, I'm gonna just make this real, and then that's where things start to get funny and interesting and engaging when it comes to Fun Bucket as a character and what they've done with it, as well as even their character dissection. Like, what are their intrigues with Fun Bucket? Like, why do they want Fun Bucket? Like, do they have the ability of being like human? What I mean by that is, like, technically they are very much so alien. Everybody else around them kind of treats them like aliens. Like, it's not like, oh well, they just kind of like make it like an Invader Zim situation. Like, no, like, the kids are getting like technically like racially profiled. Everybody that's around the 2 adults, Terry and Kova, are kind of like looking at them like, yeah, you guys are gonna start trouble anyway. And it's kind of sad on so many different levels. But one thing I'll say effectively about this episode is you can definitely finitely show there's a difference between the aliens and the humans, like just in the way that they interact, because the way that Terry and his team display sadness is very weird. You'll see it when you see it. You'll understand exactly what I mean by that, as well as like their injuries, like and what can work and what can't. And just the way that they interact in general, like they don't understand certain social cues or emotions or relations to emotions, and that's what makes it very interesting because then there's a lot of room to grow with them as characters progressionally. Now, will I say that this is a great premiere? I wouldn't say that necessarily. I think it definitely gets your feet wet with trying to figure out, what these characters are capable of, what their temperances are. I will say it's really funny. Like there was some funny moments towards the middle and the third acts that I was kind of like caught off guard, especially with some things that goes on with the phone bucket situation. But I think it does a pretty decent job. I'm really curious to see if it's going to be on the lines of like Rick and Morty in terms of like this consequence happened here. Is there a ramification to it later? I would expect nothing less from Justin Roiland, honestly. Just because of how long he's worked with Rick and Morty, but it might be completely different. Either way, I think the animation is actually done really well, and I think that they don't miss a step in terms of tone. It's just kind of trying to figure out where their footing lies. Like I need something more throughout the progression of this series, or at least the first season of it, to get me synced into these characters to love them or hate them or whatever else. Because in the very first episode, this is not to compare Rick and Morty, but Rick and Morty started off with me immediately sympathizing and wanting to gravitate towards Morty. Like I love Morty. I was like, man, this kid is literally just trying to get these seeds for this man, and he gets his legs broken. He's just sitting there, like nothing he can do about it. And then like Rick is just this half drunk but half like omnipotent like scientist, and it's just very interesting and engaging. And I think that there's definitely enough source material here with these characters to make them interesting because we don't know, what the universe lies. Like outside of them being aliens, where did they come from? What are the other aliens like? Are there opposing other aliens? Is there a circumstance that brought them to this place where, was it really a meteor? Like, there's a lot of posing questions that they can really flush out these characters. But for right now, no pun intended, it's very much so grounded within the confounds of Earth, which there are some really interesting, funny Earthlings. And it's going to be interesting to see how they filter through certain things. I think that I would request for a little bit more shock value with some of the humans. Because there was a moment that happened around the third act, and I swear like this was a One Punch Man scenario. But that's all I'm going to say. But for me, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10 for the first episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. I'll talk to you guys soon. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't going to stop. Stay tuned until next time. Peace, guys.